You have tuned into NCC News TeXas and abroad here on Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any news in your area that you think is newsworthy, please send us the source link and destination of the story. We broadcast out of Southeast Texas, but we cover North, South, East and West Texas as well as surrounding areas. If you want to hear about the areas that you are in, let us know what your city and state is. We look forward to hearing from you. Our photojournalist is DT Collins, who has worked for or created content for television, radio and print production with over 20 years of experience. Don't forget to subscribe to NCC News TeXas. We are sponsored by NeBOE Connection and Affiliates. We are NCC News TeXas and abroad. Tune in and watch each episode as we spread the news in your area. If you have news that you want aired here on NCC News TeXas, send it to us. NeBOEmarketing@yahoo.com. We want to keep you informed through each broadcast. Here's our first story.
If you are in the Beaumont or Orange, Texas area, DT Collins invites you to be his guest on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Come show Pastor Lindsay and the Starlight Kojic Church family your support. The beginning of a monumental weekend begins tomorrow. We want to see you in the building on tomorrow night at 7:30. Our guest speakers are Superintendent Brian Nelson on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. May 17th, Bishop Alton Gatlin on Saturday evening at our banquet and Bishop Gary Cantu on Sunday, May 19th at 3:30 p.m. Locations are on this flyer that is posted. Join us in this celebration for what God has done. If you have ever been a member of the Starlight Kojic Church Choir at any time, you are welcome to join us Friday to announce to our minister of music that you would like to come to our rehearsal at 2 p.m. on Sunday to be able to participate in the 3:30 p.m. service. Let them know that you heard it right here in NCC News TeXas.
You are welcome to attend the services of Starlight COG every Sunday morning, starting with Sunday school at 9:30 a.m. and then Sunday morning service at 11 a.m. We also have Bible study on Wednesday nights that you are also invited to attend. Pastor E.B. Lindsay and First Lady Josie Lindsay are the leaders of our ministry and would love to see you come out and enjoy the services.
2800 Bob Hall Road, Orange, Texas 77630.
You change my walk, you change my talk, and you change my mind. You change my heart, gave me a brand new start.
Download gospel recording artist Deborah Wilson on Spotify today.
Could not love myself. I need you, Lord. I don't need
A la Mexicana, fresh all the time, 180 North 11th Street, Beaumont, Texas. Located inside of Fulies Exxon Auto Plaza. 409-600-0612. We offer breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday. Fuelis offer competitive gas prices and open 24 hours per day, Sunday through Saturday.
Here is weather video of the beginning of Thursday night's showers videoed by our photojournalist DT Collins located at Lamar University. Earlier, some Southeast Texas schools closing ahead of Thursday storms. Widespread showers. Storms appear likely across Southeast Texas, once again posing a risk for more flash flooding and severe weather. Beaumont, Texas schools are adjusting their schedules due to the potential for severe weather Thursday afternoon. 12 News Chief Meteorologist Patrick Bond said he expected the weather to arrive around 4 p.m. in the Lakes area and by about 7 p.m. in the Triangle area. He was correct. The storm hit the neighborhood of Lamar University at approximately 7:20 p.m. He expected all of the weather to be moved out of Southeast Texas between 9 and 10 p.m.
Two neighbors dead in Killeen murder-suicide. Published by KWTX. In Killeen, Texas, the Killeen Police Department's Robbery and Homicide Unit is investigating a murder-suicide involving two neighbors. Shortly after 10 p.m. officers were dispatched to 4305 Henk Doctor in reference to 2 males needing medical attention. When the officers arrived, they discovered 2 men outside the residence suffering from gunshot wounds. Neither of them were conscious or breathing, police said. Killeen Ems arrived and determined both males were deceased. An investigation revealed 2 neighbors engaged in an altercation and one male produced a handgun and shot the other male. The shooter then turned the gun on himself and took his own life. Justice of the Peace Gregory Johnson pronounced both men dead. The names of the victims will be released once their families are notified.
If you're looking for that good homemade tasting burger, Hamburger Depot is the place to go. Get your choice of not 1 or 2, but get a triple patty burger with cheese. Hamburger Depot originated out of Jasper, Texas, but now can be found at several locations including Beaumont, Texas at 1652 West Cardinal Drive, Beaumont, Texas, 77705. Bullet passes through ball cap of victim as shots fired at cars in Hewitt. Reported by Roland Richter. In Hewitt, Texas, according to Fox 44, Hewitt police say one of a series of shots fired at vehicles passed through a ball cap worn by a driver but did not injure the victim. Shots were reported fired at total of 4 cars in the Tuesday night incident, with police taking an 18-year-old man and a juvenile teen into custody. The driver of the car from which the shots were believed fired was identified as Lane Austin Stratton. He was booked into the McLennan County Jail on 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The name of the juvenile was not released. An arrest affidavit stated that Hewitt police got the call at 10:18 p.m. Tuesday and met the victim in the parking lot of a convenience store. The victim said he knew who the people in the other car were. Officers arriving at the scene found that bullets had indeed struck the car. One of the rounds entered the vehicle from the rear, passed through the driver's ball cap and exited the front windshield. There were 3 other victims at the scene, who also told police their vehicles were shot at. All identified the suspect vehicle, provided the license number and knew the driver. The affidavit stated that the suspect made contact with one of victims at the scene via cell phone and spoke with the detective on the scene. He agreed to meet detectives at the police station, later appearing there accompanied by a juvenile friend. The affidavit stated he gave a statement about driving the suspect vehicle during the shooting, then fleeing the scene. The affidavit stated that Stratton claimed the juvenile who had been with him fired all the shots at the victims and their vehicles. Both were then taken into custody. Stratton posted bond on Wednesday and was released from jail. The status of the juvenile was not available.
If you are pulled over by the police while driving, it's important to remain calm and follow some general guidelines to ensure a safe and smooth interaction with law enforcement. Here are some steps you should consider taking when pulled over by the police. 1. Pull over safely. When you see the police car's lights flashing behind you, slow down and find a safe place to pull over. Use your turn signal to indicate your intention to pull over. 2. Stay inside your vehicle. Remain inside your vehicle unless asked to step out by the officer. Keep your hands visible on the steering wheel, and avoid making sudden movements. 3. Be polite and respectful. When the officer approaches your vehicle, be polite, respectful, and cooperative. Follow the officer's instructions and provide requested documents such as your driver's license, registration, and insurance. 4. Communicate clearly. Answer the officer's questions clearly and truthfully. If you need to reach for something in the glove compartment or elsewhere, inform the officer of your actions before doing so. 5. Avoid confrontations. Stay calm and composed during the interaction. Avoid arguing, making excuses, or becoming confrontational with the officer. If you disagree with the officer's actions, you can address the issue through proper channels later. 6. Know your rights. You have the right to remain silent and the right to refuse a search of your vehicle. If you choose to exercise these rights, do so respectfully and calmly. 7. Follow instructions. If the officer issues a citation or ticket, accept it peacefully. You can contest the ticket in court if you believe it was unjust. 8. Stay safe. If you feel unsafe or uncomfortable during the interaction, you can take note of the officer's name, badge number, and patrol car number. You can also ask for a supervisor to be present. Remember that the goal of the interaction is to ensure everyone's safety and to address any potential violations of the law. Following these guidelines can help make the interaction with law enforcement as smooth and safe as possible. Among the voluminous files reviewed by the board, they considered information provided by the Travis County District Attorney, the full investigative report on Daniel Perry, plus a review of all the testimony provided at trial. Abbott said in a statement. Texas has one of the strongest, stand your ground, laws of self-defense that cannot be nullified by a jury or a progressive district attorney. I thank the board for its thorough investigation, and I approve theoretically pardon recommendation. Abbott said. The governor can only pardon Perry if the Board of Pardons and Paroles recommends it, according to Texas law. Prosecutors said Perry, who was stationed at Fort Hood, initiated the fatal encounter when he ran a red light and drove his vehicle into a crowd gathered at the protest. Foster was openly carrying an assault-style rifle that's legal in Texas and approached Perry's car and motioned for him to lower his window, at which point Perry fatally shot him with a handgun, prosecutors said. During his sentencing hearing last May, the prosecution asked that he be sentenced to at least 25 years in prison. They highlighted a stream of racist and inflammatory social media posts Perry wrote prior to the shooting and the defense's own analysis of his mental disorders and mindset. This man is a loaded gun ready to go off on any perceived threat that he thinks he has to address in his black and white world, and his us versus them mentality, a prosecutor said. Perry's defense team asked for a sentence of 10 years. Citing his lack of criminal history, his psychological issues, including complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and praise from several of his military colleagues. They argued his actions were justified as self-defense. Perry told police during an interview that he believed Foster was going to aim the firearm at him, according to CNN affiliates.
Jefferson County Sheriff's Office warns of new scam going around Southeast Texas. Author Brett Strahan writes, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is warning residents to be vigilant of a scammer who is calling people and claiming to be a JCSO deputy. JCSO says they have received multiple complaints of a man making these calls and then trying to scam citizens out of their money. The scam itself is relatively straightforward. The fake deputy calls someone and tells them that they have a warrant out for their arrest, usually for a missed jury date. However, to avoid arrest they can pay the fine up front. In terms of payment, the scammer will usually instruct the victim to purchase a cash card so they can't be traced and take care of the fine by phone. As soon as you purchase the card and give the scammer your information, your money is already gone. The JCSO says to never immediately go to the store and purchase a cash card to pay over the phone. This is usually the first indication you are dealing with a scammer. Remember, no law enforcement agency will never try to solicit funds over the phone for any purpose. The JSCO says that these phone numbers appear to be coming from a 409 area code. However, spoof apps can make a call seem like it is coming from anywhere. Never give anyone personal information over the phone in any scenario, and be sure to watch for the warning signs when receiving suspicious phone calls. This is a developing story.
You have tuned into NCC News TeXas and Abroad here on Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any news in your area that you think is newsworthy, please send us the source link and destination of the story. We broadcast out of Southeast Texas, but we cover North, South, East and West Texas as well as surrounding areas. If you want to hear about the areas that you are in, let us know what your city and state is. We look forward to hearing from you. Our photojournalist is DT Collins, who has worked for or created content for television, radio and print production with over 20 years of experience. Don't forget to subscribe to NCC News TeXas. This concludes our broadcast. Tune in and watch each episode as we spread the news in your area. If you have news that you want aired here on NCC News TeXas, send it to us. We want to keep you informed through each broadcast.